Soares. Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland. See, I've got too many windows open at the same time. I've confused myself. And yes, it's just me and Richard tonight. Craig was going to be with us, but he's been called in. And Nick had the hump and said he's not doing anything because there's no point, because there's no football this weekend coming up. But he's going to miss out, because between me and Richard, we're going to entertain you like a couple of those people that play the guitar, play the what is it? The mouth one, not a
harmonica.
Harmonica, and I'm strapping some cymbals to my knees as we speak. Rich, how you doing?
Much better now. I've seen your lovely face, Danny. How are you?
I am tickety boom on my meat diet. I am now on day 24 of living on meat. Today I had ham, deli. I'm living on deli meat, saves cooking. I had ham and I had turkey, and I'm currently drinking one of the nicest drinks you'll ever find. It's a sugar-free red Monster, and it is
nice.
It's watermelon.
So no roughage whatsoever.
No, fuck roughage. I am actually taking additives. I've got ox bile tablets, and I've got liver tablets and all these other little additives, because I don't really like eating. I'm just measly wee every 4 hours. But that's enough about me and my diet. How have you been with your new job and life? How's it all going? Got any new books for the collection behind you?
No, I don't, unfortunately. I sadly moved into the realms of audio books. Ever since I stopped working at the Arsenal and I didn't have that hour-long commute in, I'd stopped kind of reading books. But the new job's going well, mate. Thank you. Just a lot to learn and a lot to do, but yeah, getting on with it, doing the business. Enjoying the working from home sessions that they've had me doing as well, which is always nice.
So it's just you doing what they did in Little Britain and going, computer says no.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And you realise what utter morons people are when it comes to computers and stuff.
Yeah, it does. Well, I knew that, to be fair, even before I started this thing. People deleting stuff from Excel spreadsheets, and people don't know what a browser is and all that sort of stuff. It's good fun, actually.
These people should be in the bin. They're not allowed to touch technology. How are we feeling about the Arsenal at the moment? There you go. How long are we into the show? 3 minutes and 18 seconds, and already we're talking about the Arsenal, which is probably a good thing. How are you feeling about it at the moment?
I'm not in a terrible place, to be honest with you. Not in a terrible place. I think like those three defeats on the bounce were a bit disconcerting, but I think like my thing was, apart from the Fulham game, which we were absolute dog shit in, like the other games that we lost, like we played, for the most part, we played all right in them. Like, we were creating chances, we just couldn't finish our dinner. So I think if all three games had been like the Fulham game, I think then I'd be down in the dumps and I'd be pissed off and annoyed, kind of thing. But generally, I'm in an okay place, to be honest with you. I it's you can't win every game, I guess, and let's say we are swimming up tide against a team with 115 charges to their name, so life is always going to be difficult. So you just take the wins when you can. So yeah, no, I'm not in. I heard something it was on the Arsenal Visual podcast where one of the guys said about people spiraling and stuff like that. I've not been, to be honest. I think I'm in a fairly decent place. Could be better. we could want, those guys who, like Martinelli, like Saka, like Odegaard, who last year were flying and converting goals left, right, and centre. But I think if we really click and we proper click and we start scoring goals and we start finishing chances more than we should, and we're in the position we are in at the minute, and things can get better. Like, mate, I'm all for it. I think if we look at it like, last season we had like an amazing start and then it tailed off towards the end. But this year it's kind of almost reversed. We have a bit of a sticky start by our last season's standards. But if we can push on for the next part of the next part of the season, mate, I think we'll all be happy come May.
So you haven't made yourself, knitted yourself an Arteta out scarf or any other that?
No, I haven't. I haven't subscribed to Lee Gunner, or I haven't.
What's that?
Oh,
You'd
mate.
think that they'd have died off. They're cockroaches. You'd think they'd have died off a little bit of the last season and that lot, but they've managed that like a turd on the bottom of your shoe. You think you've got it all off, but then a tiny, weeny bit of it, you find it a year and a half later, and it's all dried and crusted. That's what these people are, and it's amazing they managed to nick a living between the dark days of the end of Emery and the beginning of Arteta. And then we've had two and a half years of, this is good. This is going places. And they've managed that. You can see they're clinging on with their fucking toenails because they're animals that don't have fingernails. And they're doing it. They're still there. How have they managed to survive all this time with their negativity? And then they've gone, oh, hello, 3 in a row. Right, I'm back. It's back on.
Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day. But I mean, it's just a grift, isn't it? It's just a scam. It's just clicks and likes. It's just engagements, and it's a thing. It's just that's all it is to me, kind of thing. But I'm gonna say I've always been a much more positive. That sounds like I'm bigging myself up, kind of thing. But I don't get too down in the dumps. Yeah, it's annoying. I get pissed off, and if Arsenal lose, it ruins my weekend. But I'm not calling for people's heads left, right, and centre. I don't have the energy to do all that bollocks. If truth be told.
Someone from Australia, the Mongoose. Hello there. He's from the Gold Coast.
G'day, mate.
He could be a she, could be an alien. I don't really care. Which one you are. I'm just glad that you're here. A friend of mine who's on Twitch. What is his name? Crips. And he was doing a thing where he was playing. Everybody in the Twitch stream had to pick a team of the Aussie Rolls. And I said, all right, I'll pick my team. I went around and had a look at all the stadiums in Aussie Rules, and I picked the Gold Coast because a friend of mine lives there. And then I thought, I like the stadium, kind of like the kit. So I'm officially a Gold Coast or something, or Suns, or I don't know. But yeah, that was about 2 years ago. And they laughed at me because apparently the Gold Coast team are absolutely shit. So I thought I'd share that little ditty with you.
Are they one of the new franchises that have been like relocated from other towns that didn't want to play like NRL?
Oh, I'd have no idea. They say I'm English, but it's Australia Day today, so big up the Titans. Is that what they're called? Gold Coast Titans. I never would have got that. Yeah, so I mean, I'd love to live in Australia, apart from their dodgy government. With get in your cage and stay there, just in case you've got to sneeze. Right, dig a hole, putting you in a hole. Can't go talking about that. I was thinking about the transfer windows. I'm going to go through everybody. We are 25 days into the transfer window. Let's have a look and see the big transfers in the Premier League. I'm going to list them all. This might take me quite some time, Rich. You might want to put your feet up. Radu Dragusin, Genoa to the scum, 25 million. Claudio Echeverri from River Plate to Man City, 12 million. He's a child. And then what else is there? The Damari Gray, Everton till Al Ettifaq, which I think is the team where Steven Gerrard runs. That's 8 million. What else? No, that was in September. Fuck that. 20th of January, Boca Juniors to Brighton, Valentino Barco, 7.8 million. And then Gustavo Scrappa, Forest back to Brazil for 4 million. And then Adrian, unpronounceable to Brighton for 2.5 million. There you go. We've had 5 transfers. And of those 5 transfers, 4 were into the Premier League that have actually cost money that they've been able to do something about. This is on Wikipedia. So 2 of them have been to Brighton. They're probably kids. They're going to turn out to be wonders at Chelsea. Going to pay £100 million for each. Another kid to Man City, and then a grown man going to Spurs. But that's it. Have you got any ideas other than the FF? Is there another 3-letter word which they're now using rather than FFP to explain the current mess in the transfer world? Because there is no domino to fall, is there, to start it all off? It is broken. People are scared.
Yeah, I think the Everton Forest thing is kind of maybe shit people up a little bit, and people are maybe trying to keep their powder dry. Not keep their powder dry, but kind of not taking the gambles that they kind of would before. I think if they thought they'd get a fine or something like that, but a points deduction. Because although Everton have been okay with this point deduction, if this had happened last year, relegation, mate. So I think teams are being a little bit more calm. And also, it's. I mean, it feels like it's only just opened, but it's like we're on the 25th. Like,
we've got 6 days left.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it doesn't feel like much is going to happen or do. You know, you've got it doesn't help. Also, you've got the Asia Cup and the AFCON going on at the same time as well. This January. I think that slows down things considerably. But I think it's the FFP talk. I think it's making people move a little bit more cautiously than they would normally. I know. Like, did you see that thing that old Ornstein said about Arsenal this year, about how, like, so we're doing sod all in January because we're skirting close to that. Look at him! Look at all those lovely. That we're skirting close to the FFP line, but you know, we'll be okay for the summer, kind of thing. Which I thought was fairly interesting. But
we've got 11.9 million. I heard someone say or read. You're not going to get much there for 11.9 million, are you? You're not even going to get a rubbish player for 11 million.
No. Barely get you fish and chips these days.
Yeah, I'm just looking back at previous transfer windows. Last season, 20th of January, bought Trossard for 21. 3 days later, bought Kiwior for 17. And then transfer deadline day, bought Jorginho for 12. So that was 38, 40, 50. That's 51 million we spent last transfer window, winter transfer window. 21, 22. In the transfer window, we bought 2 players, Lino Sousa from West Brom and Aston Trusty from Colorado Rapids, both pointless. Well, one of them was, and the other one we don't know yet. And then in 2021, Omar Rekic from Hertha Berlin. I think he's out on loan at the moment, and he scored a goal.
He's just been recalled from Wigan, I think, didn't he?
He is indeed at Wigan. He was there last season as well. Was he there last season? 22, 23.
No, but I think he's been recalled, eh?
Well, it seems like quite a few of them have been recalled. Anyway, he's a half decent player, Tunisian international. So that was £500,000 from Hertha Berlin last 2 seasons ago. And then 1920, we didn't buy a single player in the January transfer window. Are you surprised by any of that lot? Because looking back, I'm going to have a look at 18-19. I think it might have been the year with the Aubameyang transfers in. No, none the year before that either. So this image that we've got that Arsenal are going to go out and refresh the entire squad. Most years we've really bought nothing apart from maybe a couple of kids. But then last season is, I suppose you always remember what was the most recent thing, don't you? To go and buy 3 players like that. Not heard of.
I mean, to be honest, I'd forgotten. I mean, I remembered we bought Trossard because there was the whole thing of Mudryk showing us his knickers for the entirety of December, and then a poor geezer. I bet he's well, I'm sure his bank account is okay, but I bet he's absolutely regretting that decision of being moneyballed into the old villainous Chelsea FC. But yeah, I forgot we got Kiwior, and then we got Jurrien. I remember Trossard because he was the alternative to Mudryk, but I'd forgotten about Jorginho. I forgot that both of those guys came in January, but yeah, it's always generally difficult to do much in January, just because of like teams who are halfway through a season, and if any players are playing well, they either want to keep them or they want absolute silly money for the players, and it's not kind of economically worth it. It's to me, it doesn't say. I'm not surprised that there's been a couple of seasons where we've bought nobody, or we've just bought a couple of youngsters that maybe we might be able to turn a bit of profit on down the line and stuff like that. I'm kind of not surprised by it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I knew going into the start of the thing, I knew, considering the amount of outlay that we had done in the summer, I knew we weren't going to do much in January.
It is, but with a lot of people are saying in the chat at the moment, you've got who else said it? Rudy said Partey is back, and then he said Partey's back is a big boost. The Mongoose says Partey actually back. That's a positive. Do we know if he is actually back? Because if I go to my
he's Arsenal posted a load of pictures of him saying "Welcome back, Thomas." He is the proverbial, Wenger always used to say it, that like a new signing. He is very much like that. I say hopefully he can go the rest of the season nice and fit. But hopefully his hamstrings don't turn into dust like Thanos has just snapped his fingers to it. But because he's such a good player, Partey, and he's so pivotal to the way that we've played and the way we transition. Partey, the player, I'm such a big fan of. It's just such a shame that his career with us has just coincided with his body seemingly falling apart and right when we needed him most, kind of thing,
I did these little things. This one is called, for people at home on the bus having a poo. I've done one of those formation things. Raya in goal, Saliba and Gabriel, White and Zinchenko at the back. He's had that most of the season. Midfield, Havertz, Rice and Odegaard. That's kind of been what I think his favourite midfield when Partey isn't there, and up front, Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. He's had that all season. But I think I've now changed Havertz for Partey. Is that what you think that Arteta's favourite formation would be? Because maybe swap Partey for Rice, but I suppose during the game, Partey and Rice would automatically swap positions, wouldn't they? But he's not had that as a starting 11 all season. And would you say that is that his aim? Because there's no Havertz in there, there's no Timber in there, and there's no Tomiyasu in there. So it makes you wonder who's back up, who's spare. And now that we're only in 2 competitions.
Well, it's the beauty of it is when everybody is fit, that these guys are somewhat interchangeable. Like that team that we started the Charity Shield with Timber at left back, Havertz up top, Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. I thought I thought we looked really decent that day, and I thought Havertz looked really decent that day for his little cameo. That's his physicality, his ability to bring others into the game, and stuff like that. And then you interchange that, and it's horses for courses and stuff like that. You want to put that extra body into midfield. You've got someone like Zinchenko that can come in. You want someone a bit more defensive minded. You want to go up against a fullback who's going to cut in on their left hand side. You can put Tomiyasu in there. They come inside on his right foot all day long. So I think it's if we're all fit, then you've got all those bods there to interchange, and you can try different things. And when Gabriel has run himself into the ground because he plays every minute of the game like it's his last, you can take him off and you can bring in Havertz and go a little bit more direct. It's horses for courses and stuff like that. It's been such a shame that before the first half of Forest, Timber does his ACL, and then Partey, I think what did he get to? Did he even get to late September before his thingy went? And we haven't seen him for half a season. So it's just, and look, we're not the only ones. The amount of football that the players have to play these days and be as competitive and as highly strung as they are, like muscle wise and fitness wise, we're not the only ones that's suffering like shit ton of injuries. It's always going to happen. But yeah, I think let's say Partey and Rice in that Xhaka role kind of thing that he had, and I feel bad for Rice because he's not. I think that's what he was maybe brought in to do, Cunning, or at least be the Partey thing. But he's not been able to have a big run in that position and learn that position and get better experience in that position because he's had to drop back and fill in for Partey earlier than probably we would have liked.
If you heard me say the words bollocks when Richard was talking, that was because I was deleting all the old pictures and I actually accidentally clicked on it rather than delete. I brought it up on the screen. I wasn't poo-pooing Richard's wise words. Partey stats. He used to play. I forgot about this. First game, beat Forest 2-1, 90 minutes, right back. Second game, beat Palace 1-0, right back, 90 minutes. Next game, Fulham, right back, 56 minutes, and then came off. Groin injury for the next 4 games. Came back against Man City in the DM role, played 15 minutes, and then went off. Now, hold on, did he come on for 15, or did he? I'll scroll down again. Oh, he came on for the last 15 minutes. Chelsea was benched, not squad, and then hamstring injury for the rest of the season. He played against Man City in the Charity Shield. He played DM, played 90 minutes, and so twice he's played against Man City this season, and twice he's played quite well. We haven't lost, so that would be a huge signing. Like if we did get him back for the second part of the season, because we've seen that Man City are vulnerable. I mean, I think they've lost 4 games already this season. I think Liverpool are the team that I'm most worried about on current form. But then when you've got players like De Bruyne and Haaland coming back from Man City, it's almost going to do like they did last season. Once we'd been top of the league for about most of the year, and then they went, right, yeah, hold my beer, and then they didn't lose a single game for the rest of the season, most of which were wins. And you think, oh God, you can't compete against that. I was on what's his name? A podcast on Sunday, Luca. And he's got his own podcast. We're talking on there, and we're just being quite negative about it. And then I said, well, if you look at the facts, if you made a spreadsheet or a database, you went, right, best manager, Pep, Klopp, and then a handful of others. So we haven't got the best manager. Most money, well, it'd be Pep, and then it'd be Chelsea, and then it'd be Klopp, and then maybe we'd be 4th place. So we haven't got the most money. The best squad of players, well, Man City first, Liverpool and us are probably second. So when you take all those things into consideration, are people expecting too much from a manager who is only in his 4th season as a manager? Because I think we can't win no matter what we do. Because back when Man City and Chelsea were buying stuff, you'd go, oh, with Juan Mata, well, we'll buy you for 40 million and we'll pay you 100 grand a week. Chelsea went 150 grand a week. And then you go, well, we can't beat them on wages. And then you get gazumped when it comes to the transfer fees. So do you think that 3rd is properly all we can expect from this team? Because last season they kind of, tickled us a little bit too much and then made us believe in fairies.
I think No, I don't think third is the best we could hope for. I think, we're challenging. We're not that, we're 5 points behind Liverpool. Is that something like that? That's, that can be made up fairly easily. We beat them, in a couple of games time. When we play them at the Emirates, we beat them in there. That's a massive fixture that can be turned around. But I do agree with what you're saying in the sense of, I said the resources and everything. Not that we're, crying poor mouth here, because we've just spent in the summer. We spent 100 million on Declan Rice. But I mean, like I said, their overall resources and how far ahead of us they are in the game. When you think of, these De Bruyne's, Edison, Diaz, Carl Walker, John Stones. How long these guys have been at that team. Same with Liverpool. I'm fairly certain I was one of the few at the start of the season when we did our predictions that I said that Liverpool they're gonna be right up there again, kind of thing. I think they've obviously made some really, really smart signings and like Szoboszlai and stuff like that. But, we're there or thereabouts. And we're there or thereabouts when we haven't massively clicked. I think I saw a stat somewhere today that, chance creation wise, I think we're doing better than Liverpool. Not by many, but I think like one or two or something silly like that. It's just that let's say we're not clicked and we're not finishing. So, if we did get into a run of form where it is like, we had last season with the finishing and stuff like that, we could really, really compete, and we can compete now. I think people are a little bit not spoiled. That might be going a bit too far, but a bit, let's say we, overexcited because we kind of got here almost like a season too early. And I also think there's like a bit of rose-tinted glasses from last season. Like last season, we were picking up points left, right, and centre, but there was a lot of hair and scaring games, and a lot more. It was a lot more open because none of the other edition teams in the first part of the season expected us to do much. We were outsiders for the top four, let alone a team that for 90% of the league were going to be top. So, whereas this season, everybody's fearful of us, everybody's scared of us, everybody's doing their homework, everybody is sitting in low blocks, and it's, and it's just a different obstacle for us to overcome. It's a different thing for us to do. And that's why I think, we bought the players that we did to try and get a bit more control in games and have a bit more possession and rather than them being a little bit more basketball-y and end-to-end. But literally, as Arteta said it in one of the end games, he wants to kill teams off with 10,000 passes of whatever it was. Maybe I'm misquoting him, kind of thing. But I think that's what he would do. But I think people. I think it's like a mixed bag, and there's like a load of different factors going into that. I think it's the way opposition are combating us and treating us and reacting to us. I think a little bit the fact that we're not clicking as well as we did last season, but also I think the expectation and like I said, that rose tinted glasses from last season, because it wasn't. Yeah, it was fun and it was great and it was exciting because we never expected to be in that position, but it wasn't as straightforward and blowing teams away as much as we remember. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, there was some a few dodgy parts last season. Liam Greyhurst is here. Hello, Liam. And also Dejan is turned up. Liam says, if all first 11 are fit, I think we can go toe-to-toe with City or Liverpool. Our problem is once injuries or lack of form take hold, it really hurts us. The lack of squad depth really shows. I mean, we've lost our... Zinchenko's been in and out. We've lost our star new fullback. And then Partey has had to play it right back, which is not really good. And then White looks like he's been carrying an injury all season. And who else is there? Jesus is constantly in and out of fitness, which means he can't get his match fitness back. Saka, no, I think at one point Saka this season was carrying a bit of an injury, wasn't it? We've just had absolutely no luck. Why can't they all just become asthmatic and need those special asthma pumps? Wouldn't that fix a lot of problems?
I think it definitely would get the old Klopp asthma pumps out. That stat was ridiculous. And let's say hopefully they'd all get into the hyperbaric chambers or the old horse placenta. Wasn't that the old cure back in the day? Getting the old horse placenta out, and it's to say, but I think every team has kind of been like that. Like I think you look at all the injuries that Brighton and Newcastle have had and stuff like that. So we're not alone. But where is Liverpool and Man City are much farther along in their squad building than we've been. They can cope with it and maybe a little bit better. But I mean, look at last season with Liverpool. They had a shocker, had loads of injuries and stuff like that, and they fell out of the place for the Champions League, and they're in the Europa League. So I mean, like that's how quick things can change and things like that. So yeah, I'm not too down on it, man. I'm not too down. I'm fairly positive.
Des Moran, hello Des, says Liverpool fall away, but if we can get our first 11 out, we will challenge. But the boring industrial petrodollar conglomerate, unfortunately, will still win it.
Yeah.
Dejan says, I would be lucky if we finish third place and get quarterfinals of the Champions League this season. Mr. Boblex says both Saka and Ben White have been carrying injuries. You can see that. Plus, their interactions down that right wing hasn't been all that brilliant. Rudy says they're carrying niggles, not injuries. Yeah, all of much of a muchness. Someone here said that Russ said that Liverpool spent 130 million on 2 forwards. There was something in the WhatsApp group. I think it's the one that you're in because there's 205 of them. For people at home on the bus, walking the dog, putting the dishwasher on. This is from @XGFORM on the Twitters. And it says, top 5 expected goals underperformers, Premier League's worst finishers. First place, Kai Havertz. 7 goals with an XG of 12.78, which means they expected him to score 13. So he's down by 6. Patrick Bamford, it must be last season actually, because Patrick Bamford isn't currently playing in the Premier League. So Josh, when you said is this last season or this season, being a Championship hipster, you let yourself down there, son. Bamford should have had 10 and he scored 4. Eddie Nketiah should have had 9 and he scored. I think I changed his surname there. Should have had 9 and he had 4. Darwin Núñez should have had 14 and he had 9. And Jesus should have had 16 and he had 11. So out of the top 5 worst expected goals to actual goals last season, we have 3 of them at the club. And if for people at home and on the bus, you can see Richard is grimacing like he's just put his feet in a bucket of cold water. Yeah, we've got 3 of the worst XG performing strikers in the Premier League. However, Kai Havertz was used as a striker at Chelsea last season. What do you think about that? Do you think maybe Arteta should have looked into these kind of stats? I mean, Núñez has turned it around, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, again, Núñez was another one where it was. He's similar to like I imagine he would be up there in that ilk especially if it was done this season as well. But like he you could take into different factors and see the thing is Gabriel Jesus and Nketiah and even Kai Havertz, them performing a bit shit on their XG, you can kind of get away with if they're still scoring the odd goals, but then you're spreading the other goals around, like Martinelli getting, over 10 goals, Granit Xhaka getting like 13 goals or whatever it was, Odegaard getting 15 goals, Saka getting, I can't remember how many goals he got and stuff like that. So it's fine when you're dotting it about, but when everything else dries up and you've got these guys whose finishing is less than clinical, that is a serious issue and a serious problem. But those strikers don't grow on trees. They say they cost plenty money, and a lot of the time, and maybe that's a stick to beat Arteta with, is in giving Nketiah that new contract and stuff like that. Where's the people that are coming in to buy Nketiah and stuff like that? That's the other issue, to make room in that squad. But yeah, it's grim reading when you're looking at that and you're like, oh shit, 3 of the top 5 are currently in our squad. That is not great at all.
Like Liam says, I do hate XG stats. I think it's bollocks. Although bought Sean a private plate for Christmas because her name is spelled SIAN. We've got S14 and then N, and then the last 2 letters are XG. And I hate XG. So her plate says Sean. How noncy is that? Anyway, she loves it. Rudy says this season isn't over. We can still do some madness. Rudy, if you wanted some madness there, that would be nice. Boy 10 says we should be prepping for next season right now. Blood Waters and Sousa, give Manware some experience. Even let Koza Dewberry kick some ball ahead of Saka and Nelson. What do you think about the fact that, if I read you a few stats here, I'll need to change this to Premier League. Click display, transfermarket.com. They spelt market wrong, but that's up to them. Right, in the squad this season, we have, I brought this up last time. Lewis Skelly, Premier League only, has been on the bench, unused once. Manwari, unused once. Bradley Ibrahim, unused once. Charles Sargo, unused once. Karl Hein doesn't count. He's a goalkeeper. Rule Waters, 5 times, never used. And then Tom Canton took a lot of, is really excellent journalist, and his stuff is really worth reading. But he said, we did an article, a little bit clickbaity, I think, but he stood up with his in the comments on Twitter that he said Arteta is giving youth a chance. How is Arteta giving youth a chance when not a single youth player has played a Premier League game this season? And even if you go and you can't use the likes of Smith Rowe 23, Saka 22. You can't have that in your stats as giving youth a chance, can you? He's doing absolutely bugger all of blooding the youth, as people like to say. It's rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, where are they supposed to get these minutes from, though? That's the thing. Like,
against Sheffield United, 5-0 against Palace, 4-0 against 2 teams.
But
did he need to put Martinelli on at 3-0 up?
No, I suppose not. But he needs to bring in Smith Rowe. You need to bring on, like say, Jorginho. You need, if Vieira was in that squad, you've got Vieira. I think the crack thing is the fact that we keep getting drawn, especially in like the League Cup, against Premier League. Like for the last couple of seasons, we keep getting drawn against Premier League teams. So we kind of have to put like a strongish thing, but it's you can't put Nyanweri, how do you pronounce his name? Apologies. On the pitch in front of Reece Nelson, because Reece Nelson needs to get minutes, or Trossard, or it's harsh because of where we are. Like I said, it was. Wenger used to do it back in the day because, like I said, he would literally all the League Cup games would be your Fabregases, your Fran Maridas, all your youngsters and stuff like that. But like I said, we've been unlucky. I think we've got like Brighton and West Ham, I think, in the cups, in the League Cup, and that kind of negates the being able to use the youths, which is like really, really frustrating. And then in the Champions League, all right, maybe in let's say once we qualified, maybe he could have pushed the boat out and and done some stuff there and put some youngsters out there. But it's hard because you put these kids out there and they have a disaster class or something goes wrong and you fucking ruin these kids. So it's not as cut and dry and easy as just throw them in there and throw them in there. And I suppose the difference that you could do is you blood like one at a time. So you're not throwing all of them on at the same and throwing them all in the deep end, because I think that was one of the things that with one of the Europa League thing last season, where we was, the team is a bit disjointed because you throw in too many guys that are not of the level and not of the first team squad, and hoping, not Deadwood, but hoping for a lot that to gel is going to be hard. But if you introduce one player into the first team with Odegaard, with Saka, with Jesus, with Declan Rice, it might be more beneficial for them.
Russ says Arteta's record in cups is pretty bad regardless. We lost, if you number of cup games per season, domestic cup, this season 3, we had 2 in the League Cup, 1 in the FA Cup. Last season 3, 2 in the FA Cup, 1 in the League Cup. No, those back-to-back seasons of 3 games, we've only ever done that once in Arsenal history since 1960 odd, when the when the League Cup was invented. Only once have we only played 3 domestic League Cup games in the season, and that was 1975, I think it was. So, I mean, to do that back-to-back seasons is unacceptable. But right, a little bit of stats here to back up my case. Against Crystal Palace, youths on the bench, we only had Walters, and then we were 3-0 up after an hour, and then he brought on Nketiah and Kiwior an 81st minute. He could have brought Walters on for, instead of one of those two, maybe instead of Eddie. And then Lons, we beat them 6-0, and on the bench we had Manware and Lewis Skelly. And we were 5-0 up at 46 minutes. You're not going to come back from 5-0 up. And then he brought on Ben White, Kiwior, Nelson, Jorginho, and Nketiah. Should have brought 1 or 2 of those on at that point. 5-0 against Sheffield United. We didn't have any youths on the bench, so couldn't do anything then. Bournemouth 4-0 away. We didn't have any on the bench, any kids. And the final big one, we were winning quite easily, 4-0 PSV, 4-0 up after 70 minutes. Didn't have any on the bench. But the classic one that people will say is the final Champions League game, which was at PSV Eindhoven. We won the group. They were going to come second. And then it didn't start any of them. I mean, I always go back to if you've got a player who's played 1 game for Arsenal, you've never heard of him, that means he played against Olympiacos in this last game of the Champions League group stage. He had Hein on the bench, Raya, Zinchenko, Manware, Saka, Sousa, and Walters. Why didn't he bring any of those on? I mean, we scored on 42, they scored on 50. 89th minute, bringing on Smith Rowe and Jesus. What is the absolute point of bringing those 2 on in the 89th minute? For the last 5 minutes of the game's over. Just go and give some of the kids a chance. I know,
I agree with you on that one. Especially the Lons one.
But it's just so many chances.
I completely agree.
If you look at Barcelona last weekend, they started 2 16-year-olds, 1 at centre back, 1 at right wing. I mean, he just doesn't trust them, which is annoying. Because when you need a player, I mean, just imagine if Emery hadn't trusted Saka, Martinelli, Nelson, Smith Rowe, Willock, they may not have become the players they've become today in that Europa League Cup run. I mean, when I'm playing Football Manager, I always like to refer back to this. I always give my young players time. I've got, with the ABWFC, I've got an under-18 side with about 30 players. I've got an under-21 side with about another 20 players, and I like to give as many players a chance as I do. And I've just found a young man who is a regen. He's a 1-star with a future of a 1.5 star. He was a Nigerian and can't remember. He's a regen, and so I played him. I mean, if you think of a 1-star player, you think there's no point playing. It's never going to do it. He came on last season. He played 5 games coming on as a sub and scored 4 goals. And then you think, oh, well, my main striker's a 3 and a 3-star, 3-star. And so I did it again this season. He's played another 4 or 5 games and he's gone and got another 3 or 4 goals. So I've renamed him Kevin Campbell and changed it to Kevin Campbell's photo. I'm doing that with my regens. I've got Andre Arshavin and Kevin Campbell at the moment. And so that's what I do. And then you can never know, you might find a gem. I mean, if Emery hadn't have started playing Saka at left back, left wing back, do you think we'd have had the Saka we've got today? Because he's only 22 and some players don't get any chances. It's weird that Arteta doesn't look at that, and it makes me a little bit sad, Rich.
Yeah, no, I can see that, and I can understand that. Let's say it's
Someone wants to know your dog's name. Rudy says dog name.
Holly. Yeah, she's like the head in Red Dwarf.
Go on.
Yeah, no, I can understand that rationality, and I say there's not been that many that have come through, but I mean, like, you know, it's almost a thing. If they're good enough, they'll come through and they'll make it, and they'll force your hand. Like I said, you've got Ethan, I think, is the main standout and stuff like that. But I don't apart from following George Bird, I don't know massive amounts of the academy lot and stuff like that. So I can't really comment on it too. I suppose, like I said, when you hit with the facts of and the stats of, you know, those 4-0s and couple of those 5-0s, maybe he could have brought a couple of them on, but we've also got you've got to give minutes to Reece, the Reece Nelsons, the Smith Rowes, the Kiwiors, the Trossards and stuff like that, because when it comes time to shit or get on the pot, when or if Saka gets injured, the next up on the conveyor belt is your Nelson. Gabriel goes down, the next. You're not going to play Raul Waters. You're going to play Kiwior. You're going to play a Polish international. But I suppose if they're never given the chance, how do you know if they're going to be, good or not, or up to standard? I mean, I don't know how well he's doing, or how many games Ranieri's played, like in the for the under-18s and the under-23s or whatever it is. Same with, like, say, Raul Waters and things like that. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't see them day in, day out training, and I don't follow or watch any of the youth team games. It's hard to kind of comment, really.
Yeah, talking of our youth players, I was going to say the likes of Patino, who's out on loan doing wonders at Swansea, and then just as I'm about to say it, the Saski Guna says they're getting smashed. Bournemouth 5, Swansea 0 at halftime. And Patino's playing the left 8 behind the main striker of Yates. Yeah, they've got 5 different goal scorers. David Brooks has got 2 goals and 2 assists and a goal. Alex Scott, who's got a goal and an assist. And Dominic Solanke has got a goal and an assist. Yeah, it looks like they're absolutely destroying them. And in fact, they brought Solanke and Kelly off at halftime. That's how easy that is. But do you think the likes of
did Patino get his start under Arteta? Didn't he?
He made his debut and scored a goal in his debut, didn't he, in the League Cup? Do you think these young players, because we've seen it all over a lot of the time now, it's money, money, money. We've seen the bloke who went to Chelsea, Amari Hutchinson, I think it was, gone there for the money, and now he's been farmed out. I think he's at Ipswich or something like that. Are these young players like Patino in my Football Manager? He's a regular starter for Arsenal in 2028. Also, I had my good name besmirched. Russ Morgan, how dare you, sir? I have done 6 seasons, all 6 invincible. From the start of the game, I'm 120 games unbeaten. I'm now in the 14th tier of English football. So you, sir, you'll be hearing from my solicitor. Stan is there. Rudy says, there were many games where we could have given the youngsters a chance, but we didn't manage to put games to bed when we should have done. And that's a story we've been over and over and over. Boy 10 says Patino has gotten a debut, same as Balogun. Patino wanted to play football, and Arteta couldn't tell him where he would get the minutes. So, do you think this? Boy 10's also, but Patino is outscoring Hutchinson. Last I checked, Hutchinson is playing. Playing the Saka position at Ipswich.
Is he getting minutes at Ipswich? I know, like they're flying high, aren't they? They're in Ipswich. They're doing really, really well.
I shall go and have a look. But when these players come to renewing their contracts, do you think this is going to affect them? The fact that they've had virtually fuck all football and they've just sat on the bench the entire time, and they're not even doing that great in the under 21 and under 18s leagues. I don't think. I mean, they're doing all right, but they're not doing the kind of stuff that you would be expecting. While I go and look up how many minutes. Oh, in Ipswich a second.
Yeah, so I know they're doing really, really well. I'm playing like really supposedly they're playing like really, really good football, which I'm sure will.
Amari has started 7 games, came on as a sub in 19 games, 931 minutes, 2 goals, 2 assists. It's not too bad.
Yeah, no, I say I'm. That's why I'm a bit surprised that more players maybe haven't gone out on loan this January. I think because I just think like sometimes it would say where we are is so precarious, because for as well as we are doing and that, you know, we're not guaranteed a top 4 place at the minute. So like the games are so precarious, and the amount of games that we've you know only won by the odd goal kind of thing. It's so difficult and hard to give players those minutes and stuff like that. So it's always going to be difficult. I think I say I'm a bit.
Go on, carry on.
I think I'm a bit surprised that you know more players haven't been mooted with going out and getting loan deals and getting minutes to play adult football. You know, maybe they're just not ready for that. That now, you know, maybe like the odd game and here and there might be okay, especially like home games and that, where they can be a bit more protected and stuff like that. But, you know, going off to League 2 or the bottom of the Championship or League 1, stuff like that, where you're coming up against hardened adults who will absolutely rip through you at a moment's notice. It's probably not probably not the most ideal thing for a 16-year-old child straight away kind of thing. But and I the youngster thing, I'm not too, let's say, disheartened as of yet with what Arteta's doing. I think I'm more perturbed by, and I think someone put it in the chat, was about his cup run. That's the thing, his cup record. That's the one in knockout football that really, really worries me. That you know, apart from that, when he first won the FA Cup, when he first got in with us, we've been dog shit in knockout competition, like really, really, really fucking struggling, really, really woeful. I think that's way more of a worrying trend. I think more than anything else. But I just think you know, I think ultimately it kind of goes down to that, you know, lack of squad depth. You know, you've got, you know, Saka and Martinelli and Jesus and Odegaard, and then those replacements to come in and, you know, Nketiah, Nelson, Fabio Vieira and stuff like that. There's quite a big drop off from those guys, you know, and I think that's where the problem is. We can't switch out and drop out our first 11 for the second string and maintain that level quite like Man City can do, unfortunately.
Des says Arteta does make some strange decisions. I've got my thumb all the way in Bergie's ear at the moment. Bergkamp. You all right, Bergie? How you doing? You're a big monster of a cat, aren't you? Oh, but he does love a schluck. He came in and we have improved, so it's hard to criticise, but taking us to the next level will be extremely difficult. Yeah. Players out. If we move on from that a little bit, it looks like who is it? Scroll down to players out on loan. Kieran Tierney again. He's out injured. Came off injured for Real Sociedad. Just going to go and have a look and see how many games he's played from this season. He's played 16 games, all competitions. And how many games has Zinchenko played for us? Zinchenko has played this season 25 games. Okay. Someone made a point recently that Zinchenko's been out a lot. But it looks like, what's his name? Nuno Tavares has been, we loaned him out last season. He went to Marseille. He's pretty decent. 6 goals in 31 league games. Then he went to Forest on loan in September with an option to buy for 12 million. The Forest fans don't like him. It's like Forest want to send him back. Marseille seem to want him. We paid, how much did we pay for him? We paid £8 million for him. Do you think he'll end up going back to Marseille on a sale? Because it says the rumours are that Arsenal are willing to sell, and it might actually be a player who might make some money. I don't know. Ligue 1 don't have much money, but if it was agreed deal with Forest for 12, we should get half that, which means it's almost covered by how much we laid out for him, because he's never going to make it at Arsenal, is he?
No, I don't think so. I think he's too much of a defensive liability. I thought he might have something. I really did think he might have something. He's so athletic and he's so strong and quick and stuff like that, but he's mentally, he's just not with it and switches off too much, unfortunately. I read somewhere that Forest were looking to maybe possibly cancel his loan, because we don't have, as far as I'm aware, as far as this article was saying, we don't have a recall clause in his loan agreement. But I think Forest want to cancel it because I think they want to loan someone else in, because you can only have like a certain amount of loans or something like that. Yeah. And they want to loan someone else in. So I think they want to cancel that. So yeah, mate, if we can get some money for him, because like I say, unfortunately, it's not gonna work out. I think that day that against Forest, where and they should have known, they were there, that he got hauled off before the half time by Arteta. I think it was curtains for him then. So I think he if we can get some money for him, that'd be great. I think there's that other lad. Is it Mike Birith? Who's he was on loan at Motherwell and was doing really, really well. And then we recalled him and we've sent him off to Austria. Yeah, is it Sturm Graz or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Sturm Graz. He's never going to make it at the Arsenal. I mean, he was a bit of, I think we got him from Fulham a few years ago. I'm just looking at, Fulham. Betty, I'm going to smack your bum if you don't stop it. She's going after me meat. There you go.
Leave his meat alone, Betty.
6'2". He's 20 years old. This season on loan at Motherwell, 6 goals in 14 Scottish Premier League games, and then he's at Sturm Graz, who are in the Austrian leagues. They are second behind Red Bull Salzburg, only 2 points behind. But they're only scoring 1.5 goals a game, which isn't good enough.
Well, maybe he can go and change it. I think Arthur Okonkwo had a decent loan spell there last season, so hopefully.
Have we got a link with them? They sound like the modern day.
The modern day Beveren.
Hey, thinking the same thing. What was our Belgian team? I mean, look at the players we got out on loan at the moment. We got Marquinhos went to Nantes, and he played 7 league games, and they've sent him back. Alex the Runnerson is at Cardiff, and he's played 6 league games, and they're keeping him. Tierney has played 11 games. Sociedad injured again. Lokonga at Luton, he's played 7 games. Okonkwo at Wrexham, 17 games. That's working out really well. Still only 22 and 6'6". I want to try and get him at my football manager. Tavares, don't talk about it. Katlan Shajan, he's at Rapid Bucharest. He's there and he's played 16 games this season. 21, central midfielder. I don't know much about him. Mario Bandera is at Colchester. They can't really do that because that's League 2. One at Vegas in the National League South with Eastbourne. Herbert is at Slough Town in National League South. Well, you just give up. Charlie Patino, as we know, I'll give all of his stats for Charlie Patino at Swansea. 21 games, 4 goals. Last season at Blackpool, 37 games and 3 goals. So, yeah, he's got a future ahead of him. And then we've got Brooke Norton-Cuffy at Millwall, and he has played 25 games from right back and 2 goals in the league. That's decent. Yeah. Saladin Mhand is at Den Bosch, 3 games, not really doing anything. Another one at Nathan Butler is at Cheltenham, 12 games. And then another one at Derby, who's not even highlighted on Wiki, so I can't tell you. Omar Rekic, I think, has played quite a few games. Kiddo Taylor-Hart is at Bromley, 3 games, and that's it. So out of all of the loans that we've got, I would say Berif has done really well. Omar's Rekic's doing good. Norton Coffey's doing good. I missed out Tyrese John Jules. 12 games, 1 goal as a striker. Never going to make it.
He keeps getting injured. He keeps getting injured, that lad. Yeah.
And that's about it. I don't think any of our other low. I mean, Tierney, when he was playing for Sociedad, I said a few weeks ago, they went 6 games, I think, undefeated, and they had 3 or 4 clean sheets in that. And as a best run of the season, he played 90 minutes in every game. So he was making a difference. But do any of those loanees stand out to you that are having a potential future at the Arse? Do you want me to bring the screen up so you can see?
No, it's fine. I would say, let's say, Norton Cuffy, I think is one, just because I think his profile and his physicality, I think he lends himself to, what Arteta likes in his, and that's the way that fullbacks are going. Like you said, you're seeing more centre backs as fullbacks and stuff like that. Obviously, Charlie Patino, I think he's a definite one. Just if he's size can get his size up and stuff like that, and Arteta is willing to give him a chance. I think he's definitely one that can to break in. And I'd say I've only ever seen clips, but I'd say Berif, I think is doing well, and I think if anything we'd at least get some money out of him. I think the others.
Selling your youth players to help FFP bullshit.
Yeah. What's that again?
Like Newcastle are selling, and Chelsea have been selling their youth players to help with the FFP. Just hope that doesn't of ours.
Yeah. What we need to get, we need to get like a hookup with one of these these expensive oil rich sides that will buy Cedric for 20 million and stuff like that.
That's what we need to do. Laws of football, apparently.
Wow. Don't buy him as a footballer, just buy him for his dashing good looks and
Colorado Rapids need players, don't they? I mean, they can buy Cedric offers for 5 or 6 million and loan a few others. That's weird. We've not sent a single player on loan to Colorado Rapids, and we bought one.
But again, why would you? Like, it's going to be no benefit to anyone apart from getting maybe a suntan. I don't know. Like, it's going to be no benefit to anybody. The standards not as good as League One, generally. Yeah, and it's you're traveling miles to cross country to play games and stuff like that. It just I don't think any good comes of that hookup. I thought whenever I saw Trusty, I rated him. I thought he was all right. Austin Trusty
did all right last season for, was it Birmingham?
Yeah. And he's sucking it up, I think, at Sunderland, not Sunderland, Sheffield United, which is a bit of a shame. Because I thought he looked all right, like young, athletic, left-footed centre back, but no, it turns out he was pony.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions or anything else you'd like us to talk about? I think we're going to go for another 5 minutes because Richard's rushed home from work, or was it training the kids? No,
that was yesterday. Training was yesterday, but it was just work today.
Good.
Yeah,
so
Mondays and Wednesdays are my training days.
And how's that going? Good?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Just an annoying aspect of grassroots football is you keep getting games postponed because of frozen pitches and stuff like that, which is
Chris was like that
proper.
with Pirates. He
proper
said they
pain
half
in the
the
ass.
season's worth of fixtures had to be played in the space of a month at one point
Yeah,
a few years ago.
yeah.
And they're paying money for that pitch, and they couldn't even bother to drain it. Absolute nightmare.
Mm.
So, are you in a league?
Yes, but it's not really competitive or anything like that.
Oh, that's a shame. But you're enjoying it, and any of them got aspirations now because of England's women's team and the WSL and all that?
Yeah, a couple of them have, like I say, I mean, it stemmed from a bit more of a social club than a football club kind of thing. You have that aspect to it with girls and things like that, but there's quite a few of them now that say they're much more football orientated and stuff like that. And actually, like a couple of years ago, I remember walking to training with the girls, and I asked them like how many of them watch football. And hardly any of them do. But, now, let's say they're actually watching, as they're a little bit older now, they're actually watching football a lot more. And one of my girls has just been signed by Chelsea.
Did brown envelope? Any of that nonsense?
No, unfortunately, I didn't. No Pal Liderson money came across my way, unfortunately. But yeah.
Were you aware of scouts scouting her?
Sorry?
Were you aware of scouts coming?
No, I wasn't. Yeah, she's ridiculously excited. And she deserves it as well, because she's worked so hard, and I remember she first came along to us because she got a leaflet in her door. She didn't even like football. It was like I said, we had leafleted a street, and she got came along, and I used to call her Bingo at first because she'd play with her eyes down. And now, even though she's playing a year up, so because with our girls, unfortunately, we had like half an under 14s team and half an under 15s team. So we just moved the half of the 14s up to the under 15s. And she's one of the girls that are eligible for the under 14. So she's playing a year up, but she's easily one of the best players, player of the match every weekend, and she's thoroughly deserved it. The only annoying thing is her Chelsea training is the same day as our training, so it's we're having to put on like extra sessions for her and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'm like really proud of her, really pleased. And like I said, another couple of girls have been signed up to the Brentford academies kind of thing. So yeah, some real good positive stories coming out of it, which is
make you feel good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does. It's we just need to get some more coaches now, especially some more. Did Chelsea sign her to an 8-year contract? Quite possibly, yes. Yeah. Poor girl. But yeah, we need to get some more. I think some more female coaches as well.
Who does she support?
She's a Gooner.
Oh dear.
So I mean, like, I'm not going to lie. Let's say most of the girls that I coach, if they're not Gooners, I give them loads of stick.
How about your girls? Are they interested in it? I know they're not old enough yet.
So my oldest Lily, she plays for the team. My youngest Amy couldn't give monkeys. She's much more into acting.
Like Rogan says, he's got a one stepdaughter from his wife's previous relationship, and I think she's in her 20s. And he said the other two, one is just like him, really interested in martial arts and art and all that, and the other one couldn't give a fuck about anything. All she wants to do is joke and fuck around. So is that like your two? They're polar opposites.
Yeah, they can be. They can be so alike, and then in other times chalk and cheese and stuff like that. Lily's always been a little bit much more of a, like I say, a tomboy and a kind of deep thinker and kind of thing, a bit of a goofball. And she likes her football and stuff like that. And she plays sports, whereas Amy is much more creative and much more like. So she goes to the Pauline Quirk Drama Academy. So she does drama and stuff like that. So yeah, Amy could not give a monkeys about football. But Lily, like I said, my eldest, she was an Arsenal fan when she was really, really little, and there's like videos of her on YouTube singing Arsenal songs and stuff like that. But unfortunately, my wife and my in-laws got into her, and she's turned into a Tottenham fan. So sad days.
Dead to me. Des says, great show. Nice to have intelligent football discourse analysis. Better than listening to that league averages. I'm going to add the word cunt in there for you, Des. Ranting, raving, spouting nonsense. Thank you both. Well, thank you very much and everybody else for being here, Des. Very nice of you. Before we go, Liam says, is the Saudi League starting to implode already? Hendo getting out, Benzema wanting out, didn't last too long. Well, we've seen that some players are still looking to go there. Newcastle have got the South American bloke who was Almiron with the funny eyes. He's got bonky eyes. It looks like he's going to go there, but not to one of the 4 clubs that Newcastle's owners own. But like someone said on a podcast, just because they don't own them, they can still make them do what they want. So that's going to be a nice little tidy sum for them to help towards their FFP. So is the league going to collapse? I think they said, I heard on one of the pop football, I only really listened to the AC Jimbo one, that they had assigned $2 billion to the league and bought the 4 or took control of the 4 teams, gave them $2 billion to buy players to help with their bid for the World Cup. And then once they've won the bid to the World Cup, which they did, then that league will fall apart because no one will give a shit about it. Has that got legs?
Yeah. I mean, I say it's you're already seeing it kind of thing now. Like, so Jordan Henderson has obviously, I think, massively has regretted it. I'm sure his bank balance doesn't regret it, but I mean, it's not like he was short of a penny before he went to. But I mean,
is he? It's all been on play now, pay later, or some bullshit like that.
Was it? What?
Yeah, they said that he doesn't get paid until the end of the season, or the gist of it was he doesn't get paid. He's 375 grand a week every Friday in a wage packet. It's deferred. That was the word, deferred. If anybody in the chat knows a little bit more about that, feel free to update it.
We're talking like cash in hand at the end of the season in a brown envelope.
Yeah.
Oh, dear grief. But yeah, it's all gone, as I say, tits up for him. I think he massively regrets it. But I mean, it's a similar thing to what happened with the Chinese league, isn't it? It's although I think maybe the Saudi league is a little bit more sustainable. I think just like say money wise and culture wise and language wise, I think it might be a little bit more sustainable than say the Chelsea league is. But it's just, like it was. I saw a post like when Henderson signed for him, and like he's, his club posted a picture of him like reverently, adoringly looking at this shirt, and it was someone putting on and goes, mate, why are you looking at that shirt? It's a club you never knew existed 2 months ago that didn't even exist 5 years ago, and it gets an average crowd of 600 people. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
behave yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I think it will go a bit tits up. Well, not that I'm hoping that it goes tits up, because it's you want more places.
All
for
those
people
free transfers.
Yeah. I'm just a bit jealous that we haven't benefited from.
Where's our Pepe money?
Exactly.
And like Steph says, that's how the Saudis treat all immigrant workers. I think that's the comment of the night, actually. Steph, well done. Take a bow, son. You've got it exactly right there. So we have got the weekend Liverpool at the Emirates, Ashburton Grove. What do you think? How do you think it's going to go? Because personally, I mean, they've got no Salah. He's injured. He's out for a month until he gets back, gets on the inhaler. Then he'll be a second half sub. But do you hold out much hope?
When's that game?
I think it's Sunday or Monday. or Tuesday? It's sometime between now
I
and
thought we were playing
Christmas.
Forest. I thought, yeah. I thought we were playing.
Oh, yeah, you are
Forest
right. Fucking
first.
Forest on the 30th. What am I thinking about? What I'm thinking about is nothing. Right, Tuesday the 30th at 7:30 is Forest, and then on the Sunday is the Liverpool game at 4:30. So those two games, what are your thoughts about them?
Well, mate, hopefully we should be able to swat aside Forest, but then I thought we would swat them aside last season, and it all went tits up. But I think we're a better side controlling wise, so I think we'll be okay there. I think hopefully, like I said, if Partey gives it a little bit more time for him to get a return from injury, maybe possibly get a couple of minutes, a little cameo against Forest, and you got him. Rice hopefully is like I said is been rubbed in the horse placenta, and all that sort of stuff, and like I said, even like the game we drew and even the game we lost against Liverpool, we really should have done a whole lot better in the sense of we played well, and I think we should have been 2 or 3 goals up. Especially I think the league game and at half time we first half we battered them. So and like I said, if Trent's not back, if obviously Salah is still going to be out with his hamstring and stuff like that. My big worry is Diego Jota, who always seems to score against us. But I think we can do something. I think it's going to be a massive game, and I think let's say with the crowd behind us, and let's say a bit more refreshed after our break and our warm weather training and stuff like that. If we can capitalise on and get another good couple of goals like we did against Palace, and we can turn over Forest, and we go into that Liverpool game with bags of confidence and bags of threat. I think we can definitely do something against this team. I don't know if they've got Szoboszlai back and stuff like that, but there's points to be won in that game. It doesn't fill me with dread. Put it that way. I don't know about you, Danny.
Well, Jota, one word that even looks like a Scouser now. That horrible, pale-faced, curly, scrawny hair, and he's diving in his cheek. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had that horrible Scouse accent. Actually, I was quite surprised. I forgot Joey Barton was a Scouser. I've been fully behind 50% of what he says, and then I hear him talk. Sad times, bro. I thought he was a Geordie or a Manc. He's a Scouser. He's a blue Scouser, not a red Scouser. But I just hate Jota. I can't stand him. You just know the scrawny little prick is going to come on and do something. No, I hold out no hope of beating Liverpool. I think Klopp will outthink Arteta, out-substitute him, out-tactic him, and their players. They're plus just a jammy side. So no,
maybe, but I don't know. I'm not fearful. Whether we get something out of the game is a different thing, but I'm not. I don't know. Like I said, I think if it was going up to Anfield, I might be bricking at myself because our record is so poor up there. But yeah, no. I'm might not be confident, but I'm not quaking in my boots.
Lovely. Right. A final few comments. Boy 10 says, Arteta kind of opted into losing by playing Havertz up front. He is that bad up front. Liam says, we've got to win one of these Liverpool games. Rudy, this time we beat Liverpool at home. And lots of numbers. Nice of you to turn up, finally. I hope you've got an excuse. 1-1 if we're lucky. 3-1 loss if we aren't. And Boy says, Klopp is going to start the quanch and make the match that's much more painful if we lose. I don't know what a quanch is.
He's a centre-back, a young centre-back. I think so.
Yes. And Rudy says we win both games. So there you go. Right, that's it.
I'm with Rudy.
Are you? I think we'll beat Forest and maybe get a draw against them if we have a good day. Well, that's it. An hour and 18 minutes, just the two of us. Happy birthday to Chris the Pirate. He's 50 today. So go and find the letter K, the letter C, the letter R, the letter U, the letter N, the letter Z. In case he runs on Twitter, go and say happy 50th birthday to him. He's he's having a bad day because no one wants to be 50. So go and find and give him some abuse. Thank you, Richard. It's been lovely, just the pair of us. There was meant to be a few others, but things came up and you can't help that. But I think we did a fine job.
Thanks for having me, mate. Yeah, no, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good. And thank you to all you lovely gooners that watched us, the show. And if you are able to give us a thumbs up, that'd be lovely. At the moment, the show has got 14 thumbs up. It's not too bad, but you can do better. If you get 1 million thumbs up, I'll do the next show naked. And on that bombshell, we are going to go. Thank you very much, everybody, and good night.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid.
Get down, dog.
Splendid business.
He nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I've just eaten a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at Ibs, so when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle.
Never in doubt.